continues to brutalize us. And I will never stop saying, not only do we need to disinvest in police, but we need to completely dismantle the Minneapolis Police Department.
Congresswoman Omar, Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez, Congresswoman Tlaib, Congresswoman Presley, I think is her name. They call themselves the Squad. I consider them to be fools.
Welcome back, patriots. You ever notice how the people who have been given the absolute most by this country, I'm talking safety, education, a seat in the highest halls of power, seem to be the ones who hate it the most? It is baffling. Today we are reacting to two clips that are absolute fire. We've got Senator Rand Paul and Senator John Kennedy taking the gloves off and addressing Ilhan Omar and the Squad. They aren't sugarcoating it, and honestly, it's about time someone said this out loud. Let's get into it.
I'm in a town where we have a lot of people who are refugees who have come, some from Somalia, some from Bosnia. I've never heard one of them say that America's a terrible place or be unappreciative of our country. Most of them are thankful. I've met people who have come here from behind the Iron Curtain that got away from communism. They're some of the best Americans we have because they really appreciate how great our country is. And then I hear Representative Omar say, "Oh, America's a terrible place. I thought there'd be justice and there's no justice here." And it's like, well, she came here and we fed her, we clothed her, she got welfare, she got school, she got health care, and then lo and behold, she has the honor of actually winning a seat in Congress, and she says we're a terrible country. I think that's about as ungrateful as you can get. And so while I'm not saying we forcibly send her anywhere, I'm willing to contribute to buy her a ticket to go visit Somalia. And I think she could look and maybe learn a little bit about the disaster that is Somalia, that has no capitalism, has no God-given rights guaranteed in a constitution, and has about 7 different tribes that have been fighting each other for the last 40 years. And then maybe after she's visited Somalia for a while, she might come back and appreciate America more.
There are a lot more important issues in front of the United States Congress and the American people than who tweets what to whom. So let me say it one more time. I thought in the president's original tweet, I thought it was a poor choice of words. I think I know what the president meant, and he clarified later and said, look, if you're not happy in America, leave. Just leave. And I agree with that. But his original articulation of that concept, in my opinion, fell short of the mark. Number two, frankly, I don't know why the president felt the need to tweet on this subject at all. You know, when you argue with a fool, you just prove there are two. And I consider Congresswoman Omar, Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez, Congresswoman Tlaib, Congresswoman Presley, I think is her name. They call themselves the Squad. I consider them to be fools. They hate America. They think America was wicked in its origins, and it's even more wicked today. They ought to be thanking America instead of calling America evil and wicked and racist. But this is America, and they have the right to their opinion. But I don't like to see the president even dignify their point of view. Besides that, I think that the Squad, as they call themselves, they are destroying the Democratic Party. You know, when your opponent is screwing up, don't interrupt him. Let him go. I mean, just looking at this from a political standpoint, if I didn't know better, I would think the members of the Squad were GOP plants. I mean, they think that illegal immigration, socialism, higher taxes, abortion are all moral goods. They think America, Israel, free enterprise are moral bads. That's not what most Americans believe. And that's kind of where I am on the subject. The president has explained his position. he has said, look, here's what I meant. If you're not happy living in America, leave. It's a free country, and I agree with that assessment.
Okay, wow. There is a lot to unpack there, but let's start with Senator Rand Paul, because he hit on something that I think frustrates regular Americans every single day. The gratitude gap. Paul makes such a simple but powerful point. He talks about refugees he knows, people who fled actual tyranny, people who fled behind the Iron Curtain or war zones in Bosnia. Do you hear them trashing America? No. They love this place. They know what the alternative looks like. And then you have Ilhan Omar. As Paul pointed out, this country didn't just open the door for her. We welcomed her with open arms. We provided food, clothing, healthcare, and education. And how does she repay that generosity? By getting elected to Congress, which is an incredible honor, and then turning around and calling the very country that saved her a terrible place. It's the definition of ungrateful. Paul isn't saying get out because he's mean. He's saying, go look at the alternative. His offer to buy her a ticket to Somalia? That's not a threat. That's a reality check. If you think the US is a nightmare of injustice, go spend a week in a place with no constitution, no capitalism, and tribal warfare. You'll come back kissing the ground at JFK Airport, Kennedy's truth bombs, and then we have Senator John Kennedy. The man is a national treasure just for his delivery alone. When you argue with a fool, you just prove there are two. That is brutal. But is he wrong? Kennedy cuts right to the heart of the ideology driving the squad, Ocasio-Cortez, Tlaib, Omar, and Presley. He didn't mince words. They hate America. And I know the media hates when people say that, but listen to their rhetoric. They don't just want to improve things. They talk about America like it was wicked when it started, and it's even more wicked now. They think our systems, our free enterprise, our history, it's all evil. The bottom line. Kennedy is right to question why we are even dignifying this level of hatred with a response. These aren't people trying to fix a pothole. They are pushing socialism, open borders, and policies that would destroy the very prosperity that allowed them to succeed in the first place. Like Kennedy said, if I didn't know better, I'd think they were plants for the GOP because they are actively destroying their own party with this radicalism. So, here is the verdict. America isn't perfect, but it is the greatest experiment in freedom the world has ever seen. If Ilhan Omar and the squad can't see that, if they really think this is a terrible place full of injustice, then the senators are right. No one is forcing you to stay. You are free to leave. But don't expect the rest of us to sit here and cheer while you tear down the country we love. What do you guys think? Is Rand Paul's offer a fair reality check? And is Kennedy right about the squad hating America? Do you think Ilhan Omar has long overstayed her welcome in America? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and keep fighting for the truth. See you next time.